My sister crashed my beach house with her new husband and demanded breakfast at 6 a.m. I set the alarm for 3 a.m. and added a morning coffee surprise they'll never forget. There's a special kind of gut punch when the people you love most, the ones you've always bailed out, decide your personal sanctuary is just another free amenity they're entitled to. But this time, they picked the wrong fight. I wasn't just going to stand there and take it, I was going to serve them a boundary they'd never forget, and it came in a rather shocking shade of blue. Look, my name's Miles. I'm 33, and for as long as I can remember, I've been that guy in the family. The oldest. The fixer. The one who shows up with jumper cables, who remembers shoe sizes, who sends money just until payday and never sees it again. It's exhausting, honestly. I own a small clothing shop, and let me tell you, I've dragged that place through some ugly years, through tourist seasons that felt more like winter in July. Every penny, every late night, every aching muscle, it all went into building something for myself. Last year, I finally bought my own place, a tiny beach house. And I mean tiny. 2 bedrooms, 1 squeaky screen door, a porch that smelled like salt and coffee. It wasn't fancy, wasn't a flex, but it was mine. My first real thing. You know that feeling? Pure, unadulterated pride. Then came that Friday. I walked home from the shop, tired but content, and there she was. My sister, Tessa. And her new husband, Cole. Sitting on my porch like they owned the place. No call. No text. Just a mountain of suitcases, like we were a 5-star hotel. She gave me this quick, almost dismissive hug, the kind a customer gives when returning a sweater. Surprise, she chirped, beaming. We just needed a little break. Cole's been so stressed. Cole just smiled, the smarmy, entitled grin that screamed, the world is a vending machine, and I just kick it until it gives me what I want. I glanced at the luggage. A little break? How long is a little break, Tessa? She waved it off like it was nothing. Oh, just a few days. You'll barely notice us. I noticed. Oh, believe me, I noticed. Right away. The guest towels I'd meticulously folded on Sunday were in a heap. Wet footprints tracked through my hallway. Cole was already poking through my kitchen drawers, looking for, I don't know, a concierge bell? We ate takeout that night on paper plates. I tried to be decent, said, I've got an early morning at the shop, you guys. Tessa squinted at the ocean like she owned the horizon. Can you turn the waves down? She laughed at her own joke. I just stared. Then, after the dishes were tossed and Cole had assaulted my ears with a playlist that sounded like an engine misfiring, Tessa stood up, stretched, and just dropped it. Like she was reading a rule from a manual everyone else knew. Everyone knows, Miles. I want breakfast ready at 6 a.m. Cole wakes early, and he likes everything her way. As the host, that's your job. My job, Cole didn't even look up. He just nodded, like he was approving my schedule. I heard my own voice come out, impossibly calm. 6 a.m. She leaned in, listing off demands like I was her personal chef. Eggs, bacon, oat milk, we're off dairy this week. And he needs coffee. Hot. Like, tongue burn hot. I smiled. It felt like stretching fabric too far, like it was about to tear. Sure, I said. But inside, something snapped. That night, I set 3 alarms. Not for 6 a.m., but for 3 a.m. Not because I'm a saint, but because I had a little surprise brewing. A harmless one, I told myself. Something they'd remember every single time they tried on that we own U-tone. I lay in bed, listening to the waves, to the old radiator humming, a sound I used to hear in the apartment I paid for so they could have the luxury of talking to me like I was hired help. I counted the things I'd once paid for them, shoes, rent, dentist bills, a security deposit I never saw again. The first real tears started before I slept. 6 a.m. was coming. And so was I. This time, I wasn't the doormat. I was the door. You see, I didn't come from money. I came from a family that thought I was their line of credit. Mom's mantra was always, family helps family, but her subtext was always, Miles helps everyone. And Dad? He'd add, you're the oldest. You owe. It started small. Gas money for Tessa. Cleats for my brother, Nate. Then textbooks. Then temporary rent when Dad's hours got cut. I was 20, working 2 jobs, stocking shelves at a chain store at night, folding thrift finds into something beautiful by day. I learned to stretch $10 like it was elastic. When I finally opened my shop at 27, they cheered in the group chat like I'd won a prize they could spend. Proud of you. Mom typed, then immediately, can you spot us until Friday? The electric bill is insane. Fridays slid into Mondays, Mondays into next week. And God forbid I ever hesitated. That's when I get the line that went straight through bone, don't be selfish, Miles. You're good at money. Translation, you know how to make it, so give it to us. Tessa had this way of stepping into things like she'd paid for the floor. She did 2 years of community college, 3 years of finding herself, and 1 long year of borrowing my car. Every single weekend, I'd watch my gas light flicker on and hear her say, oops, thought I filled it. I told myself it was temporary. That once the shop got steady, I'd set boundaries. But when steady finally came, so did more requests. A new laptop for Nate for school. A security deposit for Tessa so she could finally move out. Bridge money for Dad after a surprise tax thing, you know, the kind that magically appear every April. The beach house wasn't a flex, it was pure survival. My apartment rent was climbing, and a mortgage on a beat-up cottage was somehow cheaper than renting in town, plus it gave me storage for inventory. I fixed it myself. Sanded cabinets until my hands cramped. Laid vinyl plank flooring with YouTube yelling instructions at me. Bought a second-hand espresso machine because making my own coffee was cheaper than the app that knew my name. I just wanted my house quiet. I still showed up for family birthdays. Sent gifts. Said yes to everything, because the one time I tried to say no. God. That was the winter Mom called about Tessa's emergency. She's being evicted. Mom said, breathless, like she'd run to the phone and back. It's not her fault. Her boss is a monster. Can she crash with you? 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 2 months. Tessa left dishes like breadcrumbs. She posted beach photos from my porch with captions like gratitude. And then, she asked for my card, just to hold the hotel deposit for a friend's bachelorette weekend. I said no. She pouted. Then she cried. Then Mom called, don't punish your sister, Miles. You know she's sensitive. Sensitive. 2 days later, my bank sent a thanks for your stay alert from a hotel I'd never been to. I froze. I called. They read me the card numbers. The charge matched a card I kept for supply orders, a card that lived in a drawer. The drawer Tessa liked to rummage in for rubber bands. I confronted her. She stared straight through me. I borrowed it. I said I'd pay you back. You didn't ask, I said, my voice tight. You always say yes, she retorted. Nate was in the doorway, listening, choosing silence like Dad taught him. Tessa rolled her eyes. God, Miles, you're so dramatic. I flipped the light on the drawer. The card was back. But something else wasn't. The sense that any of them new lines existed. I replaced the card. I moved the drawer. I kept the piece because holidays were coming, and I was just so tired. That's the trap, isn't it? You get tired, and they get everything. 2 months later, I learned Mom had made a copy of my beach house key for emergencies and given it to Tessa. It slipped out by accident at Sunday dinner. Mom was plating meatloaf and said, oh, I told Tessa to keep that spare somewhere safe, in case you lost yours. For your little place. I stared at the ketchup glaze like it might start talking. You copied my key without asking? Miles, Mom said, smiling like she was teaching kindness. Family trusts family. I pictured my drawers, my coffee, my bed. I said, no. Family asks. Don't be petty, Dad said, not looking up from the game. You're so rigid. That night, I drove the hour to the beach house and changed the locks. Tessa blew up my phone. Hilarious. Was locked out with Cole. We had to get a motel. You owe me. I didn't respond. I put my phone on airplane mode and slept for 10 hours. The next week, she apologized in a voice that told me a second favor was coming. It did. Could we use the house for a weekend? Just us. We won't bother you. No, I said. It was a full sentence. I almost didn't recognize myself. She made a sound like she'd bitten an olive pit. Wow. After everything I've done for you, like what? I cut her off. You know what? Emotional support. We're family. I hung up. Sweat prickled my neck. Saying no felt like lifting a crate I thought would be heavier, but it wasn't. It felt lighter. But Mom called. Dad called. Nate texted a thumbs up, which is his way of saying, I'm not getting involved, but I see you. Tessa sent a heart, then a screenshot of a beach sunrise captioned manifesting. They showed up anyway. 2 people, suitcases, and a list of expectations. Host, she said, like it was my job title. Breakfast at 6. The old me would have made a grocery list and swallowed the insult. The new me set that alarm. I wasn't going to be cruel, but I was going to be clear. Coffee has a way of drawing lines. And mine was overdue. At 3 a.m., the house was pure sea and floor creaks. I showered, because pettiness doesn't have to be messy. I ground beans, filled the machine, pulled 2 perfect shots into mugs I didn't mind losing. Then I stirred in the surprise, food-grade blue coloring. A few drops, harmless, odorless, the kind bakers use for ocean cakes. I tested a sip. Good. Strong. And when I smiled, my teeth glowed. I made their eggs. I crisped the bacon I'd bought. I poured oat milk like some kind of hotel show-off. Then I slid into my chair with my own black coffee, which was just coffee. They shuffled out at 6:07 a.m. Rumpled. Entitled. Tessa yawned. Cole scratched himself like a human alarm clock. Breakfast, I said. Tessa sniffed. Finally, they ate. They drank. It took 3 minutes for Cole to notice. He licked his teeth, frowned. Ha! Babe? Tessa glanced at her phone camera and gasped. Why are my teeth blue? Cole swiped to the front camera. What the? He looked like a cartoon villain. He rubbed at his mouth with a napkin. It just smeared it worse. I didn't smile. I kept my voice neutral. Oh, new beans. Must be the roast. Miles. It's Di. Tessa snapped, dabbing at her lips like I'd injured her. Are you serious? Completely safe, I said. But hard to ignore. Like a boundary. Cole was spluttering. I have calls. I can't go on video like this. You can reschedule, I said. Or you can listen. Tessa glared. You think this is funny? No, I said. I think this is necessary. I slid a folder onto the table. Printed statements, Venmo screenshots, notes. I'd stayed up all night putting it together, because if I was going to draw a line, I wanted it straight. You've treated me like a wallet with arms. That ends now. Here's what you owe me. Here are the dates. Here are your signatures. Here are the texts where you promised to pay me back. I tapped a page with her heart emoji and Friday swear under a $480 transfer. She stared at the hearts like they'd turned on her. I was going to, it's been 8 months. Cole cleared his throat. We're family. You don't invoice family. You don't steal from family, I said, still calm. You don't copy keys. You don't book weekends in my house in your head and then arrive with luggage. Tessa laughed once, tiny, like she was testing a weapon. God, you sound like Mom when she's performing victim. Speaking of Mom, I said, putting my phone on the table, speaker on, the family group chat open. I typed a message at 5:59 a.m. and hovered. Now, I hit send. House is not a free hotel. Guests follow rules. Money owed must be repaid. If you don't like that, don't come. Then I attached 2 pages of the ledger. Within seconds, dots bubbled. Asterisk Mom, Miles, don't be cruel. Dad, this is extreme. Take it offline, asterisk Tessa, I hissed. Delete that. No, I said. Also, check the guest bathroom. I'd set a new rule sign last night, printed in a simple font, taped above the towel rack. Guest rules, ask before inviting others. Clean up your dishes. Replace what you finish. No overnight guests without permission. No using Miles's cards. Violations equals immediate checkout. She stalked down the hall. Her laugh echoed, humorless. What are you, a motel? I'm a person, I said. This is my home. Cole finally found his voice. We can't leave today. We just got here. You can stay 2 nights, I said. Under the rules. And you'll leave a deposit. I slid a small square toward them. A payment app QR code I'd printed and taped to a coaster. $300. Right now. You're charging your sister? Her voice climbed like a siren. I'm asking for respect. They stared at the coaster like it was a court summons. Tessa's phone dinged. Mom again. Asterisk we'll talk when emotions settle, honey. Miles, don't embarrass the family. Asterisk the word embarrass landed the way it always does. With shame they hoped I'd pick up and carry so they didn't have to. I didn't pick it up. Pay the deposit, I said. Or pack. Cole swallowed. He scanned the code. I heard the faint chirp of a completed payment on my phone. Tessa watched money leave her account like it was blood draining. You're unbelievable. No, I said. I'm clear. She looked at my coffee, then at her blue smile and her camera. You're petty. I'm awake. I stood. And we're done pretending this isn't about money and power. You don't get both. Not here. The message in the family chat turned from dots to paragraphs. I put the phone face down. Eat while it's hot, I said, and left them on the porch with the ocean and their blue teeth to think about cause and effect. The tide was coming in. So was I. They stayed. Not happily. They moved through the house like customers in a store they couldn't afford, touching everything with their eyes. I went to work at the shop and left a printed list on the counter, check out Sunday by 10 a.m. Strip sheets. Run dishwasher. Leave keys. It felt ridiculous to write it out. It also felt like oxygen. At the shop, I steamed shirts and priced a rack of summer linen. Locals wandered in. A tourist couple asked where to get the best fish tacos. I told them and threw in a 10% discount, because they were kind and asked about the neighborhood like it was a person. When the register closed, I opened my banking app and saw the deposit, bright and real. I felt the tiniest click inside me, like a lock finally engaging. The group chat boiled all day. Mom sent the classics, asterisk we raised you better than this. Family isn't about money. Your sister is in a fragile place, asterisk Dad chimed in with logistics disguised as love, asterisk you know, Tessa can't afford deposits right now. You make more than your sister, asterisk translation, absorb the cost, again. Meanwhile, Nate sent a single text that made me laugh out loud in the stockroom, proud of you. When I got home, the kitchen was cleaner than it had ever been when Tessa was within a mile of it. The blue coffee surprise had worn off, but she kept checking her teeth anyway, paranoid. Cole avoided my eyes. He'd found the sign in the bathroom and obeyed it like gravity. That night, Tessa tried a new angle. She knocked on my door and stepped inside before I said come in. We can talk, she said, perching on the arm of a chair like she was in a magazine. "I'm listening." She smoothed her leggings. "I'm sorry if you felt used. That's not an apology." She ignored that. I needed help. We both did. Cole had a thing with his old landlord, and, "Stop," I said. "You're adults." I pointed at the folder on the table. "You owe me $2,340. I'm not your bank. Pay me back over 6 months, $50 a week. No interest. Miss 2 payments and you don't come back here." Her eyes flashed. "You'd ban me? Your sister?" "I'd ban anyone who treats me like a doormat. You used to be nice. I used to have no boundaries." She scoffed. "Mom said you'd get like this once you got your little house." "It's not little to me." I stood. "Good night, Tess." She left, muttering about how success changes people, which is rich coming from someone who thinks my porch is a free resort. I slept like a stone. Sunday morning, they checked out on time. Sheets in a pile, dishes washed. A single sticky note on the counter, "Deposit is enough, right?" We didn't break anything. The smiley face was just a line, no eyes. After they left, I walked every room and found the usual: sand, a fork under the couch, a candle burned all the way down to the label. But nothing stolen, nothing new broken. Progress. I sat with coffee and sent one more message to the group chat: "New policy. No one stays without written permission. Deposits required. Boundaries are not up for debate." I half expected lightning. Instead, silence. Then, "Mom, you've changed." Miles at at the shop that week, I was lighter. Customers noticed. "Nice to see you smile," Mrs. Alvarez said as she tried on a linen dress and told me about her granddaughter's piano recital like it was the Super Bowl. I upgraded the POS app so I could send invoices cleanly. I put together a tiny website page titled "House Rules" with a password only family would get. It felt extreme. It also felt like a fence finally built. Midweek, Tessa paid the first $50. Then another $50. Shock. Friday, she missed one. Monday, she made it up with a row of grim emojis. On Thursday, she texted, "You humiliated me with the coffee." I typed and deleted 3 drafts. I settled on, "You humiliated yourself by taking without asking." The coffee was a mirror. She left me on read. 2 Saturdays later, a woman came into the shop and asked for me by name. Tall, precise wedding band tan line. "I'm Dana," she said. "Cole's landlord." "Former?" I asked, eyebrows raised. "Oh." She looked around the shop like it might be bugged. "He put me down as a reference for a new place." I told the truth. I waited. "That he pays when he's cornered." She exhaled. "He also used your address on an application." "No," I said. "He does not." "Thought you'd want to know." She put a business card on the counter. "Also, nice linen." She left with 2 shirts and paid full price, which felt like a small, good omen. That night, I messaged Tessa. "Remove my address from anything you've filed. Now. If you don't, I'll report it." Her reply was fast and furious. "What is wrong with you? Why are you against my happiness?" I didn't answer. I sent a single screenshot of Dana's card and the word "no," then I blocked her for 24 hours, to give us both the gift of not escalating. Sunday morning, Mom tried a new tactic: pity on a plate. "We're coming down to the beach to talk." I said no twice, in 2 separate bubbles, so she couldn't pretend she missed it. She sent a paragraph about how I used to be so generous. I sent 1 sentence: "Generous has boundaries." The next few days turned into a window where I tested my new spine at scale. I said no to a request for a loan that smelled like plain theft. I said yes to dinner with friends who didn't measure me by what I could give. I took a half day and sat on my porch, without waiting for the next crisis to ring my phone. When trouble finally did roll in, it came in the exact way I'd started to expect, loud in public. Tessa blew up the family chat with a monologue about how I had changed the energy of the family by making money a weapon. It got likes from 2 cousins who owe everyone back pay for babysitting, and a heart from Dad, who loves any post that isn't about him. Then something new happened. Aunt Renee, who never gets involved, typed, "He's right. Pay people back. Leave his house alone." Then my grandmother, who usually speaks only in recipes and weather reports, added, "Boundaries are good. I'm proud of you, Miles." I stared at the screen like it might be a deep fake. Tessa quieted down. The payment plan continued, grudgingly, but it continued. Cole removed my address after his application got rejected anyway. Mom tried twice more to push me into hosting a family 4th of July at my place. I said, only if everyone pays their share and cleans up after. She said, "That's tacky." I said, "So is freeloading." She sent a sigh emoji large enough to cover a car. On an ordinary Tuesday, a couple in their 40s came into the shop and told me they'd driven from 2 towns over because a friend said, "That store owner will treat you like a person." I helped them choose a jacket for a job interview. They left smiling. I locked up and walked to the water, and let the wind slap my face until it stung. I realized I'd been holding my shoulders at my ears for years. They dropped. That night, I made coffee at 9 p.m., just because I could, and wrote my own rules for my own life on an index card. Pay yourself first. Answer when you want. No is a full sentence. People who love you don't need to be tricked into respect. I tucked it into the drawer where my spare keys live now. There is no spare key for anyone else. I slept with the window open. The house breathed. I did too. A month after Blue Coffee Day, Tessa asked to meet. Public place, her suggestion, which told me she was trying not to perform. We picked a quiet cafe 2 towns inland, where no one knew us as those siblings. She came alone. No Cole, no suitcase energy, just a sweatshirt and hair thrown up, and a look I recognized from when we were kids, and she'd scraped her knee. Stubborn pain. "I made the payments," she said. "You did." "I hate that you made me." "I didn't. Consequences did." She toyed with the sugar packet, the kind of fidget she uses when she's trying not to cry. "Mom says you're punishing me." "I'm protecting me." She nodded once, like she'd heard it out loud for the first time. Cole thought the blue coffee was genius. I snorted. Of course he did. Silence. "Then he moved out," she said, like she was telling me the weather. "He liked the way you used to be." "Always." "Yes." I sat with that. I didn't say I was sorry. I wasn't. "I paid you because I don't want you to close the door," she said. "I know I've been," she searched for a word. Found the honest one. "Awful." I didn't rush to soothe. "You've been entitled." She winced but didn't argue. "I want to try to be better." Trying is good. Being is better. I don't know how to not do the thing where I assume you're the net. "You start by asking," I said. "Then you respect the answer." She blew out a breath. "You're really not going to host the 4th, are you?" "Not without a budget, a cleaning schedule, and deposits." She laughed. A real one this time. "God, you're serious." "I'm free," I said. "That's different." We walked out into a sky stacked with low clouds. At her car, she hugged me in a way that felt like a person hugging a person, not a customer trying to return something used. "Thanks for the coffee," she said. "The regular kind." "Anytime you ask," I said. At the beach house, I made a fresh pot and wrote a short post-it, sticking it to the inside of my front door so only I see it when I lock up. I am not a wallet. I am not a hotel. I am Miles. I choose who and how. Mom still tries. She calls with soft edges. "We should do a family weekend down there." "It would be healing, maybe." I say, with rules. She sighs. Boundaries. Boundaries, yes. I say my favorite word. At the shop, I watch a kid try on a jacket and jam his hands into the pockets like he's finding treasure. His dad pays and says, "You run a good place." I say, "Thanks." And I mean it, more than he knows. The register dings. The doorbell dings. The ocean keeps doing what it does. Loud when it wants, quiet when it wants. No apologies. Sometimes I think about the person I was, the one who equated love with loans. Who measured his worth in favors delivered on time. He was doing his best with the tools he had. I'm doing my best with better ones now. Blue coffee wasn't revenge. It was a boundary in a mug. A lesson that washed off with toothpaste in time. The real change is the part that doesn't fade. I no longer ask to be treated well. I require it. I pay my bills. I refuse theirs. I am generous on purpose, not under pressure. If you've been the bank, the couch, the spare key, hear it from a man who learned the long way. Know is love you give yourself. And when you give it, people either grow up or go away. Both are peace. I lock my door. I walk to the water. The horizon doesn't ask permission to exist. Neither do I.